Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. He gets rich somewhere else, then he comes to Montana. 1923's finale may set up the next Yellowstone villain. Banner Creighton, Jerome Flynn, may have paved the way for the next Yellowstone prequel show at the end of 1923 Season 2, thanks to one important line. Banner Creighton has always been an important part of the cast of 1923, but he became an even more vital player at the end of 1923 Season 2. In the finale, Banner finally turned on his evil business partner, Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, and decided to get himself and his family out of Montana. Unfortunately, that decision came a bit too late, and Banner became one of several main characters who died in 1923 Season 2's finale. Though Banner Creighton died after being shot by Sheriff McDowell, Robert Patrick, he could still have a big impact on the Yellowstone timeline. Now that 1923 is over, many viewers are eagerly awaiting the next Yellowstone spin-off show Taylor Sheridan has in store. It's still a long ways away, but Sheridan's next Yellowstone prequel, 1944, will continue 1923's story. If I'm right about the importance of one of Banner Creighton's final words, then we already know who 1944's main villain will be. The entire reason Banner Creighton was at the train station at the same time as the Duttons and the rest of Whitfield's men is because he was trying to get his family out of Montana. He bought Ellie, Sarah Randall Hunt, and Henry, Justin Stella, tickets to Portland, Oregon, before Jacob, Harrison Ford, confronted him. While Banner's plan obviously didn't go off perfectly, Ellie and Henry did manage to get on the train unscathed and will presumably make it to Oregon safely. Jacob even gave his word that it would happen, which gave Banner peace in his final moments. The fact that Henry and Ellie got out of Montana safely is important, but there was one moment before then that could be even more pertinent to 1944. Henry asked why he didn't have a future in Montana, and Banner replied that a man can't get rich in Montana. He gets rich somewhere else, then he comes to Montana, and he gets even richer. That line, and the money Banner gave to Ellie, may hint at exactly what Henry is planning to do once he reaches Oregon, make a fortune, and come back to Montana. Going to Oregon saved Ellie and Henry's lives, but it didn't solve all their problems. Ellie still had to watch Banner get shot down by Sheriff McDowell, and Henry now has to take care of his mother and finish growing up all alone. Henry Creighton will likely never forget the role the Duttons played in Banner's death, even though Sheriff McDowell is the one who actually killed his father. It was, after all, Banner and Jacob's land dispute that started all the trouble in the first place, and McDowell only shot Banner because the former had sided with the Duttons. With all those pieces in place, I feel like 1923 subtly set up 1944's main villain. I can almost see Henry Creighton going to Oregon, making a fortune of his own through gold, logging, or some other industry, and coming back to Montana both for more money and to avenge his father. It would make a lot of sense for Henry to still want revenge for Banner's death, even though 1944 takes place 20 years after 1923. Plus, that time skip is the perfect length for Henry to have the years and resources necessary to take down a dynasty as powerful as the Dutton family tree. Henry would also be a great antagonist for 1944. He's basically a perfect foil for both the Duttons, and more specifically John Dutton II, Spencer's son. Henry is the next step in the Creighton family lineage, and the money he got from Banner basically makes the Creightons a less powerful and more ruthless version of the Duttons. Henry also directly benefited from his father's sins, just as John Hugh will benefit from all the people Spencer murdered. John Hugh would also have plenty of reason to go after Henry in turn, as Spencer blamed Whitfield, and by extension, Banner, for Alexandra's death. With Henry Creighton as its protagonist, 1944 could be poised to give the Duttons their most daunting villain yet. Henry's vengeance for Banner would force Spencer to confront the uglier parts of his decisions and justify them to John Ayu. Additionally, if Henry did make a fortune in Oregon, he would basically combine the resources and power of Donald Whitfield with the white-hot rage and passion of Banner Creighton into a much more intimidating antagonist. I don't know for sure that Taylor Sheridan will continue focusing on the Creightons after 1923, but I am sure that it would be a great decision to do so. In the sweeping, rugged landscapes of Montana, power is currency and legacy is everything. The Yellowstone universe, crafted by the mind of Taylor Sheridan, has never been short of captivating villains, men and women who seek to impose their will upon the Dutton legacy with charm, ruthlessness, or sheer cunning. But the finale of 1923, the prequel series starring Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, may have planted the seeds for the most complex villain yet. One who doesn't rise from the soil of the West, but who comes from far away, rich, powerful, and dangerously entitled. As Cara Dutton's final voiceover echoed into the high mountain wind, the warning wasn't just poetic, it was prophetic. He gets rich somewhere else. Then he comes to Montana. That single line may be the prelude to a new era of conflict in the Dutton saga, foreshadowing the kind of antagonist who doesn't rope cattle or ride fences, but wields bank accounts, legal teams, and corporate charm as weapons. The warning in Cara's words. Cara's statement wasn't just a commentary on the shifting tides in the early 20th century. It was an indictment of the very forces that will come to define the Duttons' future struggles. It's the same pattern we've seen in Yellowstone. Wealthy outsiders with no understanding of the land try to buy, conquer, or exploit it. In 1923, the Duttons have already weathered one wave of outsider greed. Banner Creighton tried to seize power with the help of a mining magnate, Donald Whitfield, whose arrogance and money nearly brought the family to its knees. But Whitfield was just the beginning. If Sheridan's world-building remains consistent, then 1923's final warning suggests a more dangerous breed of villain is on the horizon, someone with even deeper pockets, better lawyers, and no respect for the sacredness of the land. A new breed of villain. The traditional Yellowstone enemy has been a businessman cloaked in modern ambition. Think Dan Jenkins, Market Equities, and the Beck brothers. But 1923 hints at something older, more calculating. Imagine a man who built his empire in oil fields, railroads, or steel mills. A man who made his fortune far from Montana, perhaps in New York, Chicago, or even London. Now, drawn by the untapped potential of the American West, he arrives with a vision not of preserving the land, but of molding it into profit. He doesn't see the Dutton Ranch as sacred. It's merely a tract on a map, a potential site for a resort, a mine, or a railroad hub. He doesn't speak in threats. He offers deals, backed by fine print and courtrooms. And that, perhaps, is what makes him the most dangerous foe yet. The ghost of Whitfield, and the blueprint for a bigger threat. Donald Whitfield was arrogant, wealthy, and immoral. But ultimately, he was a man who underestimated the grit of the Duttons. His aggressive takeover was ham-fisted and emotional. If 1923's finale teaches us anything, it's that the next villain won't make the same mistake. Instead, he'll study the Duttons. He'll make allies in the shadows. He'll come with friends in Congress, judges in his pocket, and deeds signed in ink. Cara's fear wasn't just about one man, it was about a future. The West is changing. Money is becoming more powerful than bullets. And in this new world, villains don't need to win shootouts. They just need signatures and silence. Connecting to the Yellowstone present. In Yellowstone, we've already seen the consequences of this long-gestating conflict. Market Equities, with its vast wealth and ruthless tactics, isn't just a corporation. It's the embodiment of Cara's warning from a century before. The show has made it clear, the battle for Montana is no longer fought with horses and rifles, but in boardrooms and behind closed doors. So could 1923's finale be setting up a generational through line? A villain who begins his conquest in 1923, or even his bloodline, might be the spiritual ancestor of today's corporate raiders. Taylor Sheridan loves playing the long game, and this could be his most ambitious move yet.